Every person is unique and wired differently with diverse interests. How are you wired? So we can't all be the same, but at the end of the day, success is only success when it's meaningful to you. And so it's not about what the society perceives success to be. It's about, for you, when you think of your success, how do you envision your successful self? And so if it's about you having that doctorate, it's you having that master's, it's you being that different person, footballer, that's what success means to you, and that's how you're wired.
Such an honor to attend the 6th edition of Annual Africa Conference on Social Entrepreneurship. This 6th edition of Aacose had a dedicated youth track that we got to redefine the growing up experience, the learning experience, and the innovating experience of young people. It is indeed a fruitful youth track that is laying emphasis on how we can continue at institutional level and also at individual level to come up with strategies on how then we can inspire the growing up experiences of young people and help them to master the change-making skills.
But even as we're having this conversation, the objective is to understand how do we transform the growing up experiences of young people. That's why we have young people here, and that's why yesterday we were listening to conversations from key stakeholders who work with young people, be it people from the education space, be it policymakers, be it media, be it people advancing young scientists of Kenya, STEM and all that. We want to understand how do we transform the growing up experiences of young people.
People who, like Eliud, who is building his business, just get them to share their perspectives on what it really takes. But that is not really it's not necessarily so that you can change their minds. It's at the back of your mind, just know it's up to them to then decide whether they're going to see life for what it is, but exposing them to those mindsets and those stories that tells them that this is what the process looks like might be helpful, and then you can move forward with those who are willing to take opportunities and use them while you still plant those seeds in the ones who have not yet gained that perspective.
In terms of innovation, in terms of social entrepreneurship, we also see so many new ideas popping up across the continent, and more often than not, you'll find it's a young person. But because there's so many barriers, just even an established entrepreneur struggles to move. You can imagine for young people also.
There is need to strengthen innovation ecosystem, from learning experiences to creating resources and platforms that enable young leaders to accelerate change making. And the need to create an ecosystem that enables students, enables young change makers to accelerate their impact.
They've been able to understand that change making spreads across, it doesn't matter where you're from, and gotten a sense of what both of you are doing, courtesy of Montanaya Foundation and Aacose.
Knowledge is no longer the power. The knowledge is in the application of the power. I'd like to thank Aacose and Aacose and all the other partners that made this possible. This is a very interesting forum that brings, personally, the main thing that brought me here was to try and see potential investors who can help us in our startup, and safe to say I made some connections. I just want to say thank you. It's been very insightful, very knowledgeable, and yeah, good job.
I look forward for the 7th edition of Aacose and the 2nd edition of Youth Track in the 7th edition of Aacose. And of course, I want to thank all the sponsors, the key conveners, Aacose, Tangaza University, Trace, and all other sponsors for helping to put together the 6th edition of Aacose and of course the Youth Track.